Good afternoon. It is our Thursday live. Today we are going to try something different in terms of sound. So please let me know before I'm going to start. We're just going to make sure that the sound is good, that Kaylee is my video girl for the day. So welcome back, Kaylee. And that Kaylee can see the notifications. We also want to make sure that everybody can hear well. So if you can please give an indication if the sound is good, if I need to speak up, if the mic is working, before we start. Leekie, if you are on the other side, will you give Kaylee an indication? All good on your side, Kaylee? Okay, welcome to our Thursday Live. I hope you are absolutely marvelous. I cannot believe it's the 19th of November. Tomorrow is my mom's birthday, and today we have a very special birthday at the factory when Peter, that's responsible for the dispatch department, and that's over 70 years. I can't remember his exact age, but it is his birthday today. He's a loving person, and we all wish you, Peter, the most amazing year ahead. Just health and prosperity and everything that your heart desires. Today we are going to share creative ideas, seeing that the festive season is around the corner. And we have a maestro at the door and we'll open for him soon. I just want to finish the intro. This is also something that we need to remind ourselves of, that this is actually how every day should be, festive. Reminding us of love for others, and to give. We should only celebrate Christmas actually once a year. And if you have a different religion, every day should be a day of giving and caring for others. And this is something that's close to my heart. Today, we are going to share some Christmas ideas. But the techniques I'll be showing is something that you can also apply to decor elements, and I'll share some creative ideas with you. Katie recently asked that we desperately need a Christmas tree in the house because we haven't had one for a while. And I thought of creative ideas. Our children are teenagers, so here are my Christmas tree ideas. Over here, I have used different items. So this is a crate, and we've just put some legs onto it. This is also a crate. This is actually a shoe box. Let me show you. Everything is newly painted. We've just done it a little while back. So this is a shoe box. Just different items that we stacked on top of each other. These are all books, and this is actually our entire green palette. So we have Ferrous Forest. We have Asgat. This is Laughing Lee. This is Dumisa's Dream. This is Olivia's Spell. This is Gracious. And Asgat again. The two greens that I see I forgot. Oh, and Jaco is not going to forgive me for that, is Tjhoko. And then also Goodness. Very subtle light green. But this is a beautiful selection of greens. And then over here, something that I thought I can use in my house, that's very appropriate, is a steppy, a ladder. And over here, and this is something we are going to show today, we have books. So our focus for today is what is possible with books. Reading books, second-hand books, and I'm going to show how to do the embellishment, the stencil work, the shadowing. You can see what my hands look like. They are all dirty. So I'll take you step by step. This is actually a beautiful item to have as a doorstop. Or if you are setting a table, you can use books and then get rid of the embellishments. But stack your food, different heights, and use the books as a beautiful centerpiece to stack your food, display your food on your table. Beautiful gift to give to someone. And you can use it. Here's it on my Christmas tree. It is the top decoration. We've just given some ideas. We've used, okay, I'm not a sewer. I think you all know that by now. So this is a trick. You can make proper socks with Hessian painted. Here Danny has actually painted it. You can see it was Hessian. She painted it black and then she stenciled it in white. And you can make proper socks, Christmas socks for your Christmas tree. I want to see what your ladders is going to look like after this, even just for yourself, to make sure that it's something you're very proud of to use. Okay, I'm going to move to the back of my table and then we are going to start. So on the, just make sure all my wires came with me. There have been a couple of questions over the past few days and recently this week on how to decoupage with Tjhoko, which I'm going to show. The stencil of Paris, I'm going to re-emphasize. And then, the book, the embellishment on the book, I'm going to show how to do. So first of all, if you now think of my books that I used and the box and the crates for the Christmas tree, but it's also beautiful if you want to stencil of Paris books. Seeing that Tjhoko is also a chalkboard paint, this is a beautiful placemat to use. If we do the following, and I'm going to use a stencil, I'm just going to select something here, and just do a stencil here, and then use chalk and write your guest's name on that section, and use this as a placemat for a table setting. Now the stencil of Paris, for those that don't know, and I know there are a lot of new members on the page, so welcome. This is a paste we manufacture and it sets rock hard, and this is how you use it. You scoop some from the jar. The ideal would be to secure it with masking tape. I forgot to bring with from the factory, so I'm just going to start. And then you spread it on top of your stencil. You make sure it's done nicely, evenly. When it has set, you can also sand it to make sure it's nice and even. So I spread it evenly. Beautiful for a placemat. Beautiful if you want to use it as part of a Christmas decoration or table setting. Oh, maestro. Okay, so I'm done. I remove excess so that I can reuse that, so that there's no wastage. You can see I have a loose piece over there. The stencil has been working extremely hard, so it's not the first time I'm using it. We reuse and reuse and reuse, and then I lift. And then my stencil work is complete. Now what I will do is, if I have a blue and white table setting, I will write with my chalk my guest's name in there, wait for this to dry, and then use it as a placemat. So this is something that we can use. I'm just going to put this in the basin. Okay, so this can be step one, or it can be the final step. The book was painted in Danny's day. I'm going to show you what the next possibility is with a stencil of Paris. So here is my book that is dry. And now I will paint on top of that with Danny's day. I have a book here that has received some white stenciling, but look how beautiful even just that is. So if I want to paint on top, to create what I've created with the boxes and the crates, I can paint. I'm using Dumisa's Dream. This is the color I'm busy painting with. And then on the dry stencil of Paris, you can paint. The house members in the house forgot that we're busy with a live. And there are only men left in the house. So I can only guess who it is. Okay, so here I am painting. I just want to show the steps so that it makes sense and that everyone knows exactly what to do. And once this is dry, you can decide whether or not you want to apply a second coat. But very important, always wait in between coats for the paint to dry. Okay, I'm going to stop there so that the steps just make sense. So this is now painting on top of the dry stencil of Paris. Leave to dry again. And here I have one that's completed. And the color we used here is Forest. And now what I will do is I'll take a piece of sandpaper, 80 grit. You can also use 100 grit, but for the live feeds, the 80 grit just works faster so that you can see the effect. Sorry for the noise. And I sand. So I press the sandpaper nicely evenly on top of the raised stencil of Paris. Sorry for the sound. And I can take a paintbrush, dust, and there's a beautiful placemat, decor, doorstop, centerpiece for a table setting. You will bargain hunt second-hand books from now on. I just love books. Okay, there's something we've done differently, and I'll show you the stencil of Paris with the antique glaze in a short while. We'll do this technique on top of an embellishment and on the back of the ladder so that you know how I have accomplished the shadow effect. Okay, let's put away. Next, there were questions on how to decoupage with Tjhoko Paint and tissue paper, because in the past we have used some items like, for instance, gift wrapping paper or printed sheets, something that were more solid than tissue paper or serviettes. So I have a piece of tissue paper here, actually a beautiful print, and I'm going to show you how it's done. So in the jar, I have painted my book, first of all, cloud white. Okay, there's cloud white on that side. Maestro is eating something off my table. Maestro, please leave my stuff. Maestro, leave my sandpaper. Okay, so what I have done is we have painted it in cloud white, and now I'm going to decoupage it with our clear glaze. So the clear glaze I have pre-mixed as follows. We have shown it before, but I'm going to repeat the steps. It's 3 parts glaze, 1 part cooled down boiling water. So that whatever is left, I have left glaze. Whatever is left you can put back into the container and reuse. The reason for the cool down boiling water is that the contaminants, if that's the right English, dit wat die verf kan contamineer, those components in the water that's actually dirty and that can make paint items go off. But you rather use sterile water or cool down boiling water so that you can replace what is left back into the jar and reuse. Okay, I'm going to draw a chair closer, and then I'm using an artist brush. An artist brush with very soft bristles. So you can see its beautiful soft bristles. I place on my piece, my item, whatever it is you want to decoupage, I place the piece of tissue paper on the item. I dip my paintbrush in my glaze mix, 3 parts glaze, 1 part water, and then what I do is I start from one section and I move in a downwards direction. This is patience and careful work. So you need to work patiently. You can't rub too much, else the tissue paper or the serviettes will tear. Serviettes sometimes have got a lot of stretch in them. I'll show you a piece that I've done with a serviette. has got a lot of stretch in them, and then you will see wrinkles, greases on your surface. But I'll show you, if you want to blemish those, what to do. If you like perfection, if you're a personality type that likes things to be perfect, rather use good quality tissue paper or gift wrapping paper. With gift wrapping paper, you dip the entire piece of gift paper in the glaze and water mixture and then apply it onto the surface. There are videos on our YouTube channel, Tjhoko Paint, and also on the Tjhoko Paint website that show that. Okay, so now I'm just in a downward direction with my wet glaze, soft bristled paintbrush. I am sure a foam sponge will also work, something like this, but it needs to be very soft. Mine I've used too many times, so I'm afraid to use it because it's not soft and delicate anymore. And remember, there are different ways of doing it. There's not only one correct way of doing everything and anything. You will most probably find something that works better for you. Patience is key with this. Okay, but can you see? I can't see any wrinkles, but I'm working from left to right and not the entire section. So I'll continue here now. So I first want to secure the top. I hope this makes sense. I'll show you one that has been completed, and then I'll also show how to get rid of excess. You can also, before you start, cut exactly according to size. Something I have not done for reasons that you know. I can show how to get rid of unwanted extra pieces. Okay, and now I will just patiently continue where I've stopped. And this is how easy it is. So in the past, I would apply some glaze at the bottom and then the top, but then I realized this is actually so absorbent that the glaze goes right through the tissue paper and it sticks. I'll show you one that I've done earlier today, right to the surface that you have painted. And this is it. It takes a while to dry, but so you will patiently continue the entire thing, do the areas here, then do the backing of the book. Wait for it to dry before you turn it around, else the glaze is still tacky when it's wet and will stick to the surface if you turn it around too soon before it has dried. Okay, so this is how you do it. I hope it makes sense. Are there any questions at this point, Kaylee? Okay, I'm just going to put this away. So to get rid of unwanted areas, you take a piece of, I have 80 here, 100 grit is better. So I'm taking, it's a 100 grit piece of sandpaper. You can also use a nail file. That's a tip I received from a client, and I can't remember your name, I'm so sorry. But a nail file also works so well. I'm just going to use sandpaper, because as you can see, there aren't much time in my life for manicures or nail files. Okay, so I'm going to use a small piece of 100 grit sandpaper and gently sand the edge. And tear off. Gently sand. So this is delicate work, but the reward is amazing. And tear off. Lovely to give as a gift. Lovely idea to put a nice gift in a box that has been decoupaged. Okay. Remove excess. So you just sand to remove any pieces, and then I'll just repeat everything over here. So I move in a downward direction that I don't damage my paper, away from my artwork. Just make sure everything is neat and perfect. And then I want to show you. Okay, so there it's done. There all the pieces are removed. It's nice and neat. I'll just use my nail file. I actually do have one. There it is. That's perfect. And now something that can also be done on your dry. So this is completely dry. Look how beautiful this is. So this was a green book, I think. There you can see it was green before and now it looks completely different. Lovely to put in a bathroom with your face cloth and a soap, and maybe something like a desert rose in a Tjhoko painted flower pot in your bathroom. How beautiful is that? Something different. I have seen people making bookshelves out of books. So this is also something that you can do. There are so many things you can do with books other than only read them. Books are amazing. Okay, now I'm going to use a stencil. And I'm going to use my stencil of ferrous paste. And on my dry decoupaged surface, I'm going to add something different. And this is inspiration, creative ideas that I'm sharing. Take it or leave it. I'm just sharing ideas with you. And then I can't wait to see what you recreate. Your creations are always much more spectacular than the ideas I give. Okay, so I spread my stencil of ferrous on my dry decoupaged surface. Remove excess, make sure it's nice and even. Remove the stencil, wash in water. Immediately, while the stencil of ferrous is still wet, and there you have something different again. Just an idea. Next, I'm just putting my stencil in some water. Next, I'll be showing what to do with embellishments and how to create shadow effects. And we are almost there. So this is one of our beautiful Tjhoko embellishments. You can look at the entire catalogue on our website. Inquire from your nearest stockist, and if there is not a stockist in your area, we do have an online store. So what I'm going to do, remember what I always say with Tjhoko, there aren't rules. First, there aren't rules except for two. So if we paint on varnished items, on glass, on wall tiles, we first clean properly with lacquer thinners. These are all creative items, so we don't need to glaze, we don't need to clean. This is just being creative, having fun. That's the first rule. So if you paint something else, you first need to clean with lacquer thinners. The other rule is, before we apply our clear glaze, to wait at least 4 hours for the paint to cure. Okay, other than that, we break the rules. Right, Kaylee, there's a question. Read it to me.
Where do you buy your tissue papers?
Tissue papers, I am on a bargain hunt for stationery. I love stationery. So wherever I go, stationery stores, those specific ones I bought from P&A. But wherever I go, I try to source beautiful pieces of paper. If you can't source, you can really print them. I just did exactly the same. The only difference we did is we dipped the paper, we printed paper, dipped the paper on my normal house printer. I had to print extra sheets because I didn't have enough. Dipped the paper in the glaze and water mixture and adhered it to the surface. And we've built a set for Liz Mayring's recent concert, her clouds on furniture pieces, exactly like that. So if you can't find, you can use printed sheets of paper. Wherever you go, you just see if you can't source something beautiful. If you see pictures on the internet, save them for yourself and reuse them later. Any other questions, Kaylee? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break our normal rules. My Christmas decorations, the step ladder, is more black and white. rather than white and brown. And the antique glaze has more of a brown, it has a brown on its own. It's called antique brown glaze. What it does, it actually makes the emphasizing of crevices and details so beautiful. Sorry, I just want to give a cough. So I'm going to add equal quantity antique brown glaze. Jacque, can I just ask you for some water, please? There's something very dry in my throat. Okay, and then equal quantity matte black. And for this, I'm not even going to use water. I'm just adding antique brown glaze, equal quantity, and matte black paint together. And if I still see that my glaze mix is too brown, I'll just add more matte black. So I'm stirring well. The instructions on the antique brown glaze says add 30% water. I'm breaking that rule because I'm me. Oh, boy, dankie. Maestro, dis my water. Maestro, los my skeerpapier, asseblief. Maestro is the happiest dog when I arrive home with Tjhoko boxes. He moves his entire body in all different directions as if he knows this is something that makes me so happy. So I don't always know who's the most happy to do something with Tjhoko. Is it me or Maestro? Okay, so I have mixed and I'm happy with my color. Equal quantity antique brown glaze. It's also a product that we manufacture. It's a beautiful product. I'll show you the different applications now. But I specifically like to use it on surfaces where there are crevices, detail, or even flat, like my step ladder. I'll show you. Now always, when doing paint techniques, we have a damp cloth available. A damp cloth allows you to manipulate what you're busy doing and to remove if there's something you don't like. So I have a damp piece of mutton cloth. You get it from any hardware store, even your Tjhoko stockist should have. Just ask them if they don't. And now I'm using my artist brush and I'm painting on top of my dry cloud white. So I've painted this embellishment in cloud white. So this is first what I do. I don't stick it and paint it. I first shadow it and then I stick it onto my surface using super glue. So paint small sections, use your damp cloth and gently wipe away. And remember, you are the artist. You wipe and manipulate and change until you are completely satisfied with the outcome. That's the fun thing with paint, is that you can change all the time. And with Tjhoko, all our products are water-based. You will see later, after I've done this, I'm going to paint cloud white on top of this, just to emphasize the white tones again. So paint on. To use so little of the antique glaze. I still use the same that was previously on my brush and wipe away. Lovely. If you have old mirrors in your house to give them the same effect. Okay, I'm sure this process makes sense. I am going to complete it so that the next steps make sense. Okay, so paint on small sections at a time so that you can still wipe away while it's still wet. If the glaze has dried and you haven't wiped away enough, you simply paint on top of it. So there are absolutely always ways of fixing things. Okay, and I am loving my rose embellishment. Have I told you it's my mom's birthday tomorrow? Now, I thought this morning, I actually thought of my mom a lot, because I started this creative process for today, and then I realized I grew up with a very creative mom. My mom is the person that I know that can honestly create something beautiful out of nothing. And if there's one thing I told myself my entire life, is that I will never paint, because that's something I saw my mom do so often. If my mom got a tin of green paint, in the afternoons when we would arrive home, we would have green fences in front of our house, green flower pots, green windowsills, green. And I told myself, one thing I will never love is paint. And where am I sitting today, and what am I really loving is paint. So never say never. So next, I have a cloud white book. So this book was painted in cloud white. It also was green previously. Now I'm going to use my dirty cloth. I want to show you a trick to create some shadows. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some black paint. You know the wash effect that I just love doing? I'll show you a different way of using the wash technique. So I have a dirty, damp cloth, but the paint is evenly distributed everywhere. And now what I do with this cloth, I wipe my edges. And in an instance, I have some shadows, even over here. Okay, and if there's anything I want to hide, and I just want to create some more shadows over here, and that's exactly what we have done on the step ladder as well. If there's anything I want to hide, I take a paintbrush, dip it in some cloud white. On my spot sheet, I just remove extra. And I just wipe. There, I've removed too much. Let me add some again. And I play. So this is a playful process. There's some white. I'm actually hiding most of what I've done, but that's fine. Just want to have some nice shadows. So I'm going to shadow again. Okay, nice shadows, so they just blend in beautifully. And this is playing, and you play and create until you are satisfied. Now what I'm going to do, and this is still going to receive some changes, I decide where I want to put my embellishment. I want to put it over there, and I stick it with some, it's just super glue. The gel super glue works well, I just don't have, because you can still manipulate after you have put it down. This one actually also, so I just put it down. It's going to take 60 seconds to adhere to the surface. And then something I'm going to show you what I'm going to do is I am going to dampen my cloth. Look at these hands. They honestly do come clean with water and soap. I promise on my life. That's all I use to clean my hands. Water, soap, a long bath with candlelight. That's all I use. Now I'm going to take my mix. And this is now a playful exercise. And remember, You play and play and play until you are happy with what you have created. And I just add shadows next to my embellishments so that it looks as if it was meant to be there and not stuck onto a surface. Damp cloth, dig in there, and you wipe away. So you are creating shadows right next to your embellishment. And I'm turning my cloth. The moment I see there are dirty marks, I turn my cloth to a cleaner section and I just wipe to make sure I remove any unwanted spots. And later I would take cloud white and just wash over that as well. Small sections at a time, damp cloth, circular movement, and wash. Go in there, circular movements, wash away. Okay, I'm just going to go to there. I'm sure the process makes sense. Wipe anything away that you don't like, and then if you want to change anything, I'm still going to be playful. I take my cloud white, and can be any color, and I just want to wash with my dirty cloth. I just want to blend everything in better. So with my dirty cloth, I haven't added anything. I just give it a subtle wash just to make sure it's beautiful and that everything works together. And what I will do is I will take some cloud white, just brush over my embellishment to emphasize lightness. And you play and have fun. And then what I've done right at the end is I've just added a stencil on this section with one of our script stencils and a stencil brush. Key when doing stenciling with paint is to use very little paint. So I have a stencil brush, really a tiny one, but you can use any size. Secure my stencil with my free hand and in circular movements, very dry brush. If it's going to be too wet, the paint will seep in underneath. You can rather do more than one coat and wait in between the coats for the paint to dry. And there is some stenciling, a French book, ta-da. The last thing I'm going to show you is on our step ladder, and that's going to be quick so that you just understand the process of washing on a flat surface with a glaze. I'm going to use a larger brush, my same mix, and I'm going to walk around. Just make sure my wires don't get crossed. Katie, sorry, I'm just going to turn around. There you can see I've added more white right at the end. Okay, so you can be playful and play around. So this section of my step ladder I have not done yet, and I'm quickly going to show how. So I'm using a paintbrush, and you can also use a 38mm normal paintbrush, that will also work. And what you do, paint small sections of the glaze, wipe away. And you actually just want that piece right next to the line to blend with your painted surface. I'm going to do the same here. You want to create a shadow and just wipe away. Let's do over here. Those have got all knots and pieces. So I paint small sections of the glaze mix on and then use my damp cloth. And I'm going to show you what's the best way to hold the cloth. You hold it like a ball, and you always make sure there's a clean section so that you can wipe paint on, wipe away, and can you see how it just emphasizes all the grooves and crevices? And my mix is beautiful. Half glaze, half matte black. And I want that one to be more black. And whatever you want to hide afterwards, you take your first color that you've painted with. I used cloud white, and you simply wipe over to hide any imperfections. But this is art, and the more imperfections there are, the more authentic it looks. I'm just moving back to my spot. Are there any questions? Okay, then what I've done right at the end, just to show, right at the end of this, I've just taken some rope. I twirled it around and made knots at the bottom. And there's a doorstop, a gift for someone special, a beautiful centerpiece for a table setting, something you can use in your bathroom, and it has been absolutely amazing to be with you. Okay, I want to share something with you that I thought about this morning, and this will be 5 seconds. My grandfather loved, and I don't know what the correct English pronunciation for this is, canas. You know those plants with the long stems and the orange flower at the top and the big leaves. And he was always so proud when his canas was in bloom, and I just did not like those flowers. But I never said anything because I knew how precious those flowers was to my grandfather. And when you look in nature, you can see so many species of plants, different colors, different shapes, different sizes. Even if you look at us, we all look different. So something I want to share with you is we all are different and we like different things, and let's respect that. I hope that you have a marvelous week, that you stay creative beyond expectations with Tjhoko Paint, and then I'll see you again next week. Place, I'm not sure, but same time. Stay creative, stay inspired. Tjhoko Life. Bye.